In this video, I'm going to make this cool looking desktop computer out of a broken gaming laptop that I got from Facebook Marketplace for only 70 bucks. I found this laptop when I was scrolling through Facebook Marketplace on the other day, and I see a guy listed an MSI GF75 with broken display for only 80 bucks. And after a little bit of conversation, he agreed to sell it to me for $70. And considering it has an i7 8th generation CPU, 16 gigs of RAM with a GTX 1050, I got this laptop in a very great price. I really like the idea of people having transparent display at their side panel so that they can display cool animation, system static, while also able to see the hardware inside. So my plan for this video is to disassemble the laptop, take out the motherboard, and with that motherboard, I'm going to design and print out a new case for it and give it some modification. So without any further ado, let's get started building this computer. I start by disassembling the laptop, taking out all the screws to get inside. Once all the screws are came out, I can lift up the back cover and disconnect the battery. Be noted, it is very important to disconnect the battery first when you're disassembling this type of laptop because you don't want to short circuit anything on the motherboard. After disconnecting the battery, I start taking out all the small components such as the speaker, the hard drive, and the Wi-Fi card. The motherboard holds by the same screw that hold the heatsink and the fan, so I have to disconnect the heatsink and the fan to remove the motherboard. Because the motherboard is very old, the thermal paste on the GPU and the CPU are not in good condition either. After the motherboard came out, the next thing to do is to test it if everything is still work. I have a spare LCD laying around which I want to test if the motherboard are still sending display signal to the LCD, which is matter a lot for what I'm planning to do in this video. When I confirm everything is working, next thing that I have to do is to replace the thermal paste for this computer. The old thermal paste are dry out and become rock solid, so I use isopropyl alcohol to clean it out. Because the thermal paste are very dry, it is quite hard to get it clean. After I'm done cleaning all the thermal paste on the motherboard, I have to remove all the existing thermal paste from the heatsink and the fan. After that, I use toothbrush to remove all the dust from the heatsink and the fan. I also use it to clean out the motherboard. And for the thermal paste, I'm using this desktop thermal paste that I have laying around. I don't have any high quality thermal paste with me and I don't plan to push it to the high performance anyway, so I think this thermal paste will work just fine. After I'm done applying the thermal paste, I put the heatsink and the fan back on. After I'm done cleaning and repasting the CPU, next is to work on the housing for this computer. I hop into Fusion 360 to design a 3D printed enclosure for it. And since I don't have any background with 3D design, this box with few holes took me 2 days to finish. Since I don't have a 3D printer, I sent it to a guy to get it done for me. I tried to mount the motherboard into the case using the M3 screw. And as for the speaker that comes with the laptop are too big to fit in the case, so I swap it with the speaker that I got from AliExpress. And I do the same thing with the Wi-Fi card, which I swap out the antenna for the small one that I got laying around. But as I almost finished assembling it, I soon realized that I forgot about the power button that sits underneath the motherboard. I'm using one end of the jumper wire to solder to the motherboard, and another side connect to an external push button which acts as my new power button. The button on the motherboard has 4 pins, so I have to use a multimeter to find out where I have to solder the jumper wire to. After I'm done soldering, I use a heat resistant tape to tape the jumper wire in place so it wouldn't wiggle around. Next thing that I have to do is to solder another end of the jumper wire to the button and find somewhere to place it. I decided to put it on the top right hand side of the case, so I make a hole with hot soldering iron and glue the button in place with hot glue. And what I have to do next is to put the motherboard and assemble it back in. So now it's time to work with the display. Let me explain. A typical LCD display consists of a lot of different layers, but we only care about two here, which is the LCD and the backlight. And if we remove the backlight, we only left with the LCD, which is transparent and let you see through everything inside. And as I remove the backlight, you can see that the LCD is just a thin piece of glasses, which is very dark. So I tried to secure the display in place with double-sided tape, but it turns out that this tape does not hold up very well, which I have to switch to a heat-resistant tape later in the video. When I think that the LCD is secure, I connect it to the motherboard to test if everything is still work. And as I plug in the power, you can see still nothing. This is because the LCD are too dark. So in order to see some image, you will need a bright light source underneath it. I solved this problem by using an LED strip, and I want to cut this LED strip and stick it to the double-sided tape. After I spent some time sticking the LED with the double-sided tape, I have to use the hot soldering iron to solder one end of an LED strip to another one. I want to power this LED with the same power source that powers the motherboard, which I want to take it directly from the DC jack. But there is a problem with doing that. The LED that I'm using takes 12 volt DC, but the computer power supply provides 19.5 volt. So I have to use this buck converter to step that 19.5 volt down to 12 volt so I can supply that power to the LED without burning it. After that, I solder a connector to the DC jack on the motherboard to draw power directly for the LED. I also remount the LED by making it flip-flop like this so it can shine light directly to the motherboard and not down below. And all I have to do now is to assemble everything back in and our computer will be finished. And now comes the real question, will it still turn on or did I break it? As I press the power button, the screen starts flickering, which I get a little bit worried. But as I wait for a few more seconds, the MSI logo finally appears and the computer boot into Windows. I'm really happy with how it turns out, especially for the LCD display that I can put up any animation that I want while also see the component inside. The LCD does a really great job displaying cool illusion, animation, and even musical lyric. And even though this computer cost me only $70, it is more than capable for daily use such as web browsing, watching YouTube, and playing some game. I loaded into Minecraft and I can say that this computer can keep up very well considering it running Minecraft at around 250 to 300 frames per second. And that's it for today. I hope you like and enjoy this video, and if you do, please considering pressing that like and subscribe button, and I'll see you in the next video.